Relax, you weren't witnessing a mirage if you were anywhere close to the Las Vegas Strip on a sunny afternoon and believed your eyes were deceiving you. That steady, sluggish rumble wasn't a film production gone wrong or a parade float. It was Blake Shelton, country superstar, the voice icon, proud Oklahoma guy, and full-time professional mischief maker, cruising down one of the most renowned pieces of road in the world, on a Kubota tractor. Indeed, a tractor, on the Strip. It was Blake Shelton, of course. A country singer driving by Caesar's Palace at tractor speed, smiling as if he had won a wager he began himself, is a profoundly, gorgeously unhinged sight in a city built on excess, towering neon, high-end sports vehicles, and fountains choreographed to Andrea Bocelli. It was the most Blake Shelton thing to happen in Las Vegas since he turned a honky-tonk dream into a full-blown Strip residency. The moment that made Vegas do a double-take. Vegas is not easily impressed. Locals have witnessed people wandering around with pet iguanas as if it were no big deal, brides marrying strangers at 2 in the morning, and Elvis impersonators on stilts. However, a bright orange Kubota tractor driven by a man who appeared to be Gwen Stefani's current husband and former coach of The Voice forced even seasoned Strip veterans to halt in their tracks. Phones came out instantly. Travelers chuckled. Drivers leaned out of windows. Blake, with his baseball cap down and that well-known half-smile on his face, appeared to be a man who was completely content with the decisions he had made in life. Because to Blake Shelton, this wasn't ludicrous. This was branding. Why get a tractor? Why not? If you followed Blake Shelton's career for more than 5 minutes, you know subtlety has never been his thing. He's created an empire on leaning into precisely who he is. A small-town man with a loud voice, a bigger laugh, and zero interest in pretending he's somebody he's not. So when he drives a Kubota tractor down the Las Vegas Strip, it doesn't feel random, it feels planned in the most Blake way possible. Shelton's public character is well suited to Kubota, a brand that is associated with hard work, dirt roads, and rural America. He sang about back roads, beer coolers, fishing spots, and doing things the old-fashioned way. Putting him behind the wheel of a tractor in the glitziest metropolis on earth is a visual punchline that writes itself. It's country crashing into casino culture and winning. The Strip meets the farm. Picture it. The Bellagio fountains erupting behind him. Blake's tractor was moving at about the same speed as tour buses. Neon signs blinking overhead as the Kubota hums along, completely unbothered by its surroundings. There's something oddly poetic about it. Las Vegas is built on illusion, on fantasy, reinvention, and pretending to be someone else for a night. Blake Shelton, on the other hand, has turned his obstinate sincerity into a career. He doesn't shapeshift for the city bends around him. And somehow, it works. The tractor didn't look out of place. It looked rebellious. Like a reminder that a little dirt under your boots is acceptable in any occasion, no matter how ostentatious. A walking or driving. Punchline. Blake Shelton has always understood the power of humor. Long before he was selling out arenas or coaching on The Voice, he was the person making jokes on stage, poking fun at himself, and leaning into his own stereotypes before anyone else could. Driving a tractor down the Strip is the ultimate visual joke, and Blake is in on it. It's the kind of stunt that says, yeah, I know how ridiculous this looks. That's the point. And that self-awareness is exactly why fans love him. He has never made an effort to be cunning. He has never followed fads. He's just showed up as himself, sometimes louder, sometimes dumber, often funnier than expected. Blake Shelton was not tamed by Vegas. Blake Shelton farmed Vegas. From Oklahoma fields to neon streets, Ada, Oklahoma, and Las Vegas Boulevard are separated by a lengthy road. Throughout his career, Blake Shelton has both literally and figuratively traveled it. He grew up surrounded by wide-open areas, where tractors weren't props, they were tools. They meant work. They meant routine. They meant understanding how to fix things oneself when they broke. Fast forward a few decades, and that same person is a chart-topping performer with a Strip residency, a marriage to a pop icon, and enough clout to shut down traffic with farm equipment. And yet, somehow, he still feels like the same person. That's the magic trick. Blake Shelton's fame never erased his roots. It accentuated them. The tractor isn't a gimmick. It's a callback. The internet loses its mind, Naturally, within minutes, social media was inundated with footage and photographs. Only in Vegas. This is the most Blake Shelton thing ever, and sir, this is a Wendy's. Oh wait, it's a tractor were among the captions. Fans laughed. The non-fans hesitated. This was immediately recognizable, even to those who couldn't name 3 Blake Shelton tunes. That's star power. It felt pleasantly chaotic to watch Blake Shelton drive a Kubota down the strip in an era when superstars are frequently overly polished and carefully managed. It wasn't a PR statement, it was a moment. And moments are what the internet lives for. His playground is Vegas. Now Blake Shelton's connection with Las Vegas has developed throughout the years. What started as tour stops grew into a deeper connection, culminating in his Ole Red Las Vegas venue, a full-blown country sanctuary in the center of the Strip. Ole Red isn't simply a pub, it's a mission statement. It asserts that country music is appropriate here and everywhere. So when Blake drives a tractor through town, it seems like a victory lap. He didn't just arrive in Vegas, he brought his whole universe with him. Boots, twang, tractors and all. Gwen Stefani's imagined reaction. You can't talk about Blake Shelton without at least picturing Gwen Stefani's reaction at this moment. Somewhere, perhaps nearby, possibly watching the videos pour in, she's probably shaking her head, smiling and thinking, of course he did. Their relationship has always thrived on contrast. Punk pop meets country lad. Couture meets camo. Scarlet lipstick meets fishing hat. Blake on a tractor in Vegas feels like the ultimate manifestation of that dynamic. It's chaos, but it's lovable anarchy. And Gwen, more than anybody, realizes that Blake's appeal lies in these very moments. Not a stunt. A statement. The tractor ride reads more like a statement, even though others could write it off as a stunt. Blake Shelton doesn't have to demonstrate that he belongs in Las Vegas. He doesn't need to dress things up or play along. Instead, he shows up just as he is, and lets the city deal with it. That assurance doesn't come from arrogance, it comes from ease. Blake Shelton has never shied away from announcing his identity loud and clear. Even if the volume is limited to the speed of the tractor. The slowness is the point. In a city obsessed with fast money, fast vehicles and faster lifestyles, there's something almost rebellious about moving slowly. A tractor doesn't rush. It doesn't show off. It simply travels at its own speed to its destination. Watching Blake Shelton cruise the Strip like he's inspecting fence lines back home is a reminder that not everything has to move at breakneck pace to have an effect. Sometimes the slower you go, the more people notice. Why fans enjoyed it? Fans didn't just laugh, they celebrated. Because this is exactly the kind of moment that makes Blake Shelton feel accessible, even at celebrity status. He is not concealed by tinted windows. He's not being enigmatic. He's basically driving a tractor along one of the most photographed avenues in the world. He seems to be letting everyone in on an inside joke. And in a time when celebrity frequently feels distant and manufactured, that openness matters. Country music, loud and proud, there's also something quietly compelling about seeing an emblem of country life ride through a metropolis that epitomizes beauty and extravagance. It's a reminder that country music, and the culture behind it, isn't something to be tucked away or cleaned up for urban consumption. It is appropriate everywhere. Blake Shelton didn't dilute himself to fit Vegas. He extended Vegas to include him. It's a flex. The tractor's legacy. Travel people may forget particular chart positions or award victories in years to come. But they'll remember this. They will recall that day. Blake Shelton casually drove a Kubota tractor down the Las Vegas Strip like it was the most common thing in the world. Because this kind of moment endures. They become legendary. They become shorthand for who someone is. And for Blake Shelton, that shorthand is clear, unashamedly himself, wherever he goes. It sounds about right. Ultimately, this wasn't shocking. It wasn't out of character. There was no need for an explanation. Instead of posing queries, Blake Shelton's tractor ride in Vegas provides answers.